There's a town hidden in Missouri where silence is louder than memory, a place that didn't die in a fire or a flood. But when the flames cooled and the last mail truck stopped coming, the town slipped quietly out of America's sight and almost out of its memory. How does a community built on pride and sweat disappear without a disaster, without headlines, without even a warning? What happened here that turned a once busy town into a living echo, half remembered, half reclaimed by the land? In this video, you will see the full truth of Moselle in one cinematic journey. Its rise, its collapse, its people, and the whisper it left behind. And I encourage you to watch this video without skipping any part, so you don't miss the details I've carefully included.
Welcome to Inspire Hub. Make a difference with every click. Subscribe, like, and share our videos to help feed those in need. Your support matters. Join our community and let's create positive change together.
Moselle doesn't greet you with signs or smiles. It greets you with silence, thick, heavy, almost protective. At first glance, it feels like a town that simply paused. But the truth is softer, sadder, and much older. This place was carved out of iron. The furnace, the smoke, the roar of trains carrying hope in every direction. But when the fires cooled and the work disappeared, families followed the jobs, and Moselle began to empty itself out. Today, you can walk a full minute before hearing anything louder than your own footsteps. Not everyone knows this place existed, but those who once lived here or grew up hearing stories remember a town shaped by the river, the rails, and the stubborn belief that small communities could survive anything. What remains now is the echo of work, of families, of a life that slowly slipped away without making a sound. Long before silence took over, Moselle started with a single decision: to build an iron furnace beside a river that never stopped moving. The Meramec wasn't just scenery, it was a lifeline, cooling the furnace, feeding families, and shaping the rhythm of every day. Settlers came here because the land felt promising. Iron in the ground, timber everywhere, and a river wide enough to carry work downstream. Then came the furnace, massive stone walls, roaring heat, and men working shoulder to shoulder in temperatures that could melt a horseshoe. And right beside it, the railroad arrived, linking Moselle to St. Louis, to markets, to opportunity. For a moment, this tiny place felt connected to the world. Families built homes near the depot. Kids chased trains after school. Everyone knew the whistle's tone because it meant work, visitors, or news from far away. Moselle may look empty now, but every structure sits on top of stories, some forgotten, some whispered through generations, all tied to this land. To understand why the town faded, you first have to understand how deeply it was rooted in the earth beneath it. Every town that disappears leaves behind a moment, small, almost invisible, where things begin to shift. Moselle's moment came quietly. The furnace that once gave life to the town started cooling more often. Days without smoke turned into weeks, work slowed, paychecks shrank, and families began to read the landscape like a warning they didn't want to believe. Then the railroad changed. Fewer trains, fewer stops. The same whistle that once meant hope now echoed through the valley, like a reminder that things were slipping away. Some residents held on, fixing porches, repainting walls, praying for a season where the furnace would burn strong again. Others started packing, not because they wanted to, but because towns built on single industries collapse the moment the industry takes its final breath. This was the beginning of Moselle's quiet fall. Not dramatic, not sudden, just a slow, steady unraveling. When a place begins to disappear, the people who stay behind become its memory. They hold everything the town can't say anymore. They remember furnace workers walking home, faces dark with soot, eyes tired, but hearts full of pride. Pride that came from honest work. They remember kids sprinting toward the depot, just to feel the ground shake when the train roared past. Sundays meant river gatherings, porch card games, neighbors walking in without knocking because no one here believed in locked doors. And even as the town thinned out, some stayed because they believed Moselle could still survive another season, another year, another chance.
Top of the church, yeah.
Here we go.
All right. Well, you have to just taking pictures. That used to be a doctor's office. He used to
Wow.
live there, and it was his doctor's office. The bank used to be right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a neat little town back when I was a kid.
Oh,
You lived
yeah.
here since you were a kid?
Well, no, she has up on the hill. Her name's Sarah. She's way up on the hill. She grew up here.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, I think, almost 80.
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, the factory used to be here and stuff. Yeah, Fort went to. Oh yeah, it's a neat little town back in the day.
Yeah.
It's a shame it looks like it does now, but there's a lot of people still live here that.
I mean, it's nice to see the old history.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of places in America where they just throw away the history,
Right.
but just to see the old fire trucks and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's
It's
a
so
neat little
cool.
town out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have a great day.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you too.
Bye bye
Yeah.
now.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
But hope is heavy. And each year brought more silence, more empty windows, more nights where the only sound was the wind. Those who stayed didn't just watch the town fade. They felt it fading inside them, in their routines, their goodbyes, the empty chairs at dinner, and little by little, Moselle became a place remembered more for what vanished than for what remained. If you visit Moselle today, the first thing you notice isn't a building, it's the quiet. A silence so complete it feels like the town is holding its breath. The old furnace stack still stands, weathered but stubborn, like the last witness to a story most people never heard. Around it, the remains of homes are scattered. Some walls collapsed, others barely holding on, all of them open to the sky. Nature has rewritten the map. What used to be streets are now trails hidden beneath layers of leaves, branches, and time itself. What's left of the depot is harder to see, just fragments of concrete and rust, barely recognizable unless you know exactly where to look. Explorers describe Moselle as a place frozen between life and disappearance, not fully abandoned, but no longer alive. There are no crowds, no guides, no signs telling you what used to be here. Just the sound of your own footsteps and the wind pushing gently through forgotten spaces. Moselle exists today the same way a memory does. Not fully present, not fully gone, but powerful enough to make you stop and listen. Moselle isn't just an abandoned community. It's a reminder of how quickly a town can rise and how quietly it can disappear. Just like McDowell County, West Virginia, a place that once stood on coal but slowly collapsed when that industry faded. Today, much of McDowell is still struggling, with little attention given to true long-term revival. I explored this reality in a previous documentary about the hillbilly communities West Virginia is facing today. If you watch that video after this one, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. And you will realize that. Across America, small towns built on single industries often follow the same path: growth, struggle, decline, and eventually, silence. Moselle followed that familiar pattern. A booming beginning, a hopeful middle, and a slow unraveling once the jobs disappeared. But what makes this place different is how gently it faded. No dramatic collapse, no single moment of failure, just a steady retreat into memory. When you walk through Moselle, you can feel the echo of the people who once lived here, as if their routines are still hanging in the air. And that's why ghost towns matter. They show us what happens when a community's purpose shifts faster than its people can adapt. They reveal that progress has a cost, and sometimes that cost is a place where generations built their entire lives. Moselle may be quiet now, but its story still speaks, through its ruins, through its silence, and through the land that remembers everything. In the end, Moselle isn't asking to be rebuilt. It isn't asking to be remembered loudly. It's only asking not to be forgotten. Because places like this weren't just dots on a map. They were kitchens filled with laughter, porches warmed by evening light, and ordinary lives that mattered deeply to the people who lived them. The buildings may fade, the roads may disappear, but the stories remain, carried by the land, by memory, and by anyone willing to stop and listen. If Moselle feels quiet today, it's not because it has nothing left to say. It's because its story is meant to be heard softly. And as long as we tell it, Moselle is still here,